Yo guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. And in this video we are going to learn about the if-else statements or decision making in C. So let's get started. I have written some code over here. I'm going to change this to X, and I'm going to change this to X. And I have made a mistake. What the mistake is that I have declared variable as small x, and I have written capital X over here. So this should be small x, because capital X variable and small x variable are different. So let's get started with the code. I have taken 3 variables over here. I'm going to use these 2 later. I'm going to use only this one right now, and maybe I'm not going to even use this. We'll see about that. I have taken the input, and then I have written an if-else statement. So let me just compile it and execute it first, and then I'm going to explain you. Compile it, run it. I'm going to put the x as 2, and now I'm going to put the x as -2. So what happens is this. If is used to check something, and if that something is true, do something. If it's not, do something else, and then continue the execution. So here's how it goes. I input the x as 2 first. So it checks if 2 is greater than 0, which is true, because 2 is greater than 0. So the condition here evaluates to true. And since this if is true, anything inside this if block will get executed. Hence, you can see for x equal to 2, it gave me x is positive. And then, since this condition is true now, no need to execute the else part. So this gets skipped or jumped, and the execution continues from here. So you can see, instead of printing me x is negative, it printed me execution is continued from here. And now, for x is -2, what happens is, it checks if -2 is greater than 0, which is false. So the condition over here evaluates to false. So now, this will get skipped, because the if condition is not true, and the else part will be executed. So it printed me the x is negative, and then the execution will continue from here. So it printed me the execution continues from here. Now I'm going to show you that writing an else is not necessary for if. I'm going to show that. I'm going to compile it, run it, compile it, and then I'm going to enter -2. So I entered -2. So -2 is not greater than x. So this condition again evaluates to false. False. Typo that, man. So false. But since there is no else part, the execution simply continues from here. So as you can see, the execution continues from here. Now there's one more thing called the else if, which means that execute this else if this condition is true. So I'm going to take the second number now from user. I'm going to take the second number from user in y, and I'm going to check that if y is greater than 0. So as you know that I told you earlier that if this condition is not true, the else will get executed. But only difference is that this if was not there in else. You can call these unconditional elses. Means if this condition is true, false, this else will get executed no matter what. And you can call these conditional elses, which means that if this condition is false, this else will only execute if this condition is true. So let me just show you over here. I'm going to change it to y is positive. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to compile it, and then I'm going to run it, and I'm going to enter first value positive and second value negative. So it just printed me that x is positive, and the execution continues from here. Now what happens over here is, it takes the value of x is 1, checks 1 is greater than 0, it's true. So this condition evaluates to true, hence this gets executed. Now since if got executed, there's no need to execute the else part, so it doesn't even checks this condition, it just simply jumps to here and the execution continues from here. So after executing this if, it executes this. So that's how it works. Now say I'm gonna change it to normal, and I'm going to say now run it again. Now I'm going to enter the first word number negative and the second number positive. So now what happens? Checks x is greater than 0, x is minus 2 is not greater than 0, condition evaluates to false. So now this condition is false, the else part will get executed. Now since this is a conditional else, this will be only executed if this condition is true. So what is this condition? Y is greater than 0, y is 2, 2 is greater than 0, this condition evaluates to true. So this gets executed, and as you can see it printed me y is positive, and then the execution continues from here. Now we can have the combination of if, and else statements. Let me just show you. Else print f both is negative. That's it. I'm gonna end my block. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna compile it, run it, and now I'm going to say enter both numbers negative. So none of these is going to get executed. Okay, I did something. I need to present it over here. So now what happened? So x is greater than 0. X is minus 2. Minus 2 is not greater than 0. So this is false. So the else part may get executed if this condition is true. What is this condition? Y is greater than 0. Y is minus 2. Minus 2 is not greater than 0. So this condition also false. So now this condition is also false. So now it drops down to the next else. And in the next else, I can have a condition over here. But since I do not, so this will get executed whatever it is. So it gets executed and prints me both is negative, and the execution continues from here. Now say if I was checking a third number, let's just do that very quickly. I'm not gonna explain you that deeply, I'm just gonna do it quickly. I'm gonna copy paste it, and I'm gonna change y to z over here. Come on, what I'm doing. Y to z over here, save it, compile, run, 1, minus 2, 2. X is positive, this gets executed, no need to execute the else part, execution continues from here. Correspond that to my output, it's true. So now I'm going to input both the numbers negative and the third number positive. So what happens is quite similar to the case where only this was there, but now since this is also there, after this condition is evaluated to false, it will drop down to the next else and then check if this is true. This is true because that is 2, 2 is greater than 0, this gets executed, and then this doesn't get executed because this was true, so one if got executed, so the execution continues from here. So basically, if this gets executed, none of the below will get executed. If this gets executed, none of this will get executed. If this gets executed, none of the below gets executed. The execution will simply continue from here in those cases. So this is the if, else if, and else statements. You can have if statements inside if statements. I can have ifs over here, and I can have ifs in there, I can have ifs in there, and then I can end those ifs, and then I can end those ifs like that. Basically you have to follow this syntax only, and that is called nested if statements. I can have if, else, if, else, if, and then else. Finally, I can have that type of thing. So that's called nested if else. You can have that. And then there is this logical AND operators, logical AND operator, logical OR operator, and logical NOT. Let me explain that to you really quickly. And I'm going to do that by using two numbers. So I'm going to check and y greater than 0. I'm going to do this quickly because I'm trying to make this video short, but you're going to get what's going on. Both is positive. I'm not writing the else part because it's obvious that if the condition above is false, the else will get executed, so no need to explain that again. So, okay. Now what happens over here, I'm gonna save it, compile it, run it, enter both the numbers as positive. So it printed me both as positive. So what happens over here is this. X is 2. 2 is greater than 0. This condition evaluates to true. Now it will check this condition. Y is 3. 3 is greater than 0. This condition also evaluates to true. So true and true will evaluate to true. So this gets executed. Let me just undo that quickly. Now I'm going to run it again. And I'm going to enter first word as positive, second as negative. The execution continues from here. Why the execution continued from here? Because this condition evaluated to false. How? This is true because x is 2, 2 is greater than 0. So this is true. Now it evaluates this. Y is greater than 0. Y is minus 4 is not greater than 0, so this is evaluated as false. True and false evaluates to false. Basically, if any one condition is false and it is ANDed with another true condition, it will be evaluated to false. So this is false, so the execution continues from here because this if doesn't get executed. And obviously, if I enter both the numbers as negative, this will evaluate to false. No need to compute further because may it be true, may it be false, but the end result will always be false because the one came false. So this will be executed. If you want, I can show you quickly. -1, 2. So this came false. No need to go further because it can be true, it can be false, but because this is false, this whole condition will be false only. So this gets executed. So that's how the AND operator works. It's like the AND gate, only it will only execute the if condition if either side of the conditions are true. Both sides of the conditions are true. Now the OR gate works a little different. The OR gate or the OR operator over here will execute if any one of these is true. So may my x be positive, my x be negative, it will be running. So let me just show you. If I enter x -1, y as 2, still gets executed because y is greater than 0 is true. So this gets executed. Now if I do the reverse, I enter y is positive, x is positive, y is negative, still gets, the if part still gets executed because obviously x is greater than 0, so this is true. No need to compute this. This may be false, this may be true, it doesn't matter. One condition is true, execute the if. And if both the conditions are false, then only the if doesn't get executed. So in the AND gate, you need both the conditions to be true to get the if executed. In the OR gate, you need any one of the conditions to be true to get executed. The if will not get executed in OR gate if both the conditions are false. The if will not get executed in case of the AND operator if any one of the conditions is false. So now let's jump to the NOT operator, and I'm going to show you that by using only one variable. So let's do it. So I'm going to NOT this condition. So NOT, basically what NOT does is it will evaluate this condition, whatever it is, true or false, and then the not will change that to the opposite of the result. So let's just say if x is greater than 0, means x is say 10 is greater than 0, this evaluates to true. This not will turn this true to the opposite of it, which is false. So this won't get executed. Let me just show you an example. I'm going to save it. I'm going to compile it, run it. Say I'm going to put 10. 10 is greater than 0, so x is greater than 0. It's true. And the not will change that true to false. If won't get executed, it will just print execution continues from here. So let's just say, see, execution continues from here. If I enter -10, what happens? X is greater than 0. So x is -10. -10 is not greater than 0. This condition evaluates to false. This not up here will change this false to the opposite. It becomes true. This condition eventually comes out to be true. So the if get executed. As you can see, it says bot is positive. Execution continues from here. So this is the if statements, if else, and the if else if statements. So now I'm gonna remove everything, and then we're just gonna stop how you can have the statements. You can have if statement, your condition, and then what to do if the condition is true, and then you can have this. You can have multiple statements inside this logs, and then you can have else, what to do if condition is false, and that's how you write if else. And then in between them you can have else ifs, condition, what to do if the above condition is false, but if the condition is false, and if, say I'm going to write condition 1 over here, and but the condition 1 is true. Similarly, you can have multiple else ifs, and say this is condition 2. What to do if condition is condition and condition 1 is false, but condition 2 is true. So you can see that this is pretty much and. This can be minimized by and operators, because it's basically saying is what to do if condition 1 and condition is false. So if both of these are false, so you can write it like this: if condition and condition 1, and then just you can remove this, and then only you need to only check this condition 2. So what I will do is, if condition 1 and condition is true, then do this, otherwise do this. But you can only do this if you are doing the same thing over here and the same thing over here. Only then you can merge these two, otherwise you cannot. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. So this is how you can have your else if else statements. You cannot have some random code over here and then continue writing else ifs, because the else part of the if statements have to be directly below it. You can have some random code over here to be executed. You can have this code, if this is true, this will get executed, and then this will get executed. If this is not true, this is true, this will get executed. And then if this is not true, this will be true, this will get executed, then this will get executed. If none of these are true, this will definitely get executed, then this will get executed. So that's how it works. And then you don't need necessarily the else part. You can just have the if and the random code. If this is true, this will get executed, then this get executed. If this is not true, this will not get executed, simply this will be executed. So that's how you write your if else statements. I'm going to have a practice video after this one because it is very important. So that's pretty much it for today. Leave your doubts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.